Good evening, welcome to the studio this evening. And tonight, what I'm going to be doing tonight is coating these with this stuff, which is a primer coat, basically. Okay, let's get that loose clay off of there. No point in leaving it on because it won't stick it on. Yeah, so I'm going to be blasting. I've got 5 of these. Yep, 5. Actually, I'm missing one. I'm just going to go get another one. I've got 6. Should have another one. And that one's number 6. So we've got a big one there to do. Because I'm doing such large things, I'm using the big airbrush. The big airbrush. Quite a sizable airbrush that. I've never actually run it here. And I'm not actually sure, well, I know the compressor can handle it. That's not the issue, it's whether the airline from the compressor to here can handle it. Because it's rather a long line and it's rather thin for the amount of air that uses. In fact, I'm actually just going to knock the air down a little bit. About 30. It's run this about 25 pounds. About there. Okay, so airbrush. Okay, suggesting about 4 to 1. That's about what I thought. Actually, that's suggesting I run that at a higher pressure. So we will do. The recommendation is there for a reason. So I need to dilute it into the spray cup, and I'm just looking for the diluting agent, which is there. So I need roughly, so I'm just going to give myself a measure. I have no idea whether that's enough or too much for what I'm going to do, so we will actually find out. It's a long time since I've used that brush, and it's a long time since I've used this much primer. I think what we'll probably do is about 6 to 1, and we'll see how far that goes and how it sprays for that matter, because I've never actually sprayed primer with that airbrush. So that's also something new. Lots of new things always on this channel, you see. Now then, before I just do that, what I'm just going to do is mix this in here just so we get the paint that was in the bottom of this out. And then I need to mix the paint that's in that paint cup of the airbrush and so that's the primer. Now then, I don't actually have a stick, so what I'm going to do is use the back end of a paintbrush. So I've just put everything in here. You can see I've got just over, what, a third of a cup, half a cup, something like that. Give that a mix up. And I will put the cap on that as well. You see, I've just been careful to sort of get the this is where I have to be careful, because I don't actually have a proper rest for that airbrush. So the danger is that it will fall out of where I've just got it now. So put the cap on, which will help. Take a slurp of coffee, because that definitely helps. I will need to put the fan on, so it may get noisy, and I'm sorry I can't do much about that, but I do need that on. That's going to generate a lot of overspray. And there's a computer over there, as you can see. There's cameras around, microphone. I do not want this overspray going all over the place. So first thing I'm going to do is take that off. We may or may not get 6 done, just because we may or may not have enough room for 6. So I'm wearing a glove because my hand is probably going to get covered. So fan. Hopefully that, well, okay, well it won't clip, but right, here goes. There we go. Now if this goes on nicely enough, I may not actually need to do multiple coats. Now there's a hole in the bottom here, and that's what you're hearing resonate. This may actually be a bit too thin. But that's not a problem. All that means is we'll end up doing multiple coats. It's kind of nice in a way here, not to, just to blast paint on basically. So I'm just opening the airbrush here as, wide nozzle, and I'm literally just blasting this stuff on, which is kind of nice. No finesse required. Now previously I've used this spray gun for clear coat, which is a completely sort of different sort of way of doing things to spraying like this. So it's sort of interesting that I don't actually have an experience of using this gun for priming. The last time I did this was on my computer case, when I did sort of a large amount, and actually the last time I did this full stop I used my other airbrush, one of the Iwata airbrushes that I've got, and the computer case especially was one of those that I did with the small airbrush. So I don't know what the usage quantity of anything is going to be like in this, using this brush. Now a lot of this layer of paint will soak in, and that's okay because that provides a nice sort of key for it, so that when I come to do another coat over the top, that sticks to this, and therefore we get a better top layer, top level coating. Got some dust on it, I didn't notice. Now one of the advantages of this particular airbrush is it's working a bit like a spray gun. So I've got a nozzle on the front which is actually flattening the spray, and actually I'm spraying it the wrong way. Wolfie, hello, good evening, welcome to the stream. This airbrush has wings. The wings create an airflow, which means that I get an oval, so my paint is like a vertical oval. So I ought to spray it. It's like using a flat brush. You sort of use your flat brush to get the widest area, not like that, which is what I was doing a minute ago. And I have just realised that I ought to have sprayed this top, but this bit here is mostly dry now. Am I getting any paint out of this? Have I used it all? Oops, do not spray paint without... No, I've got blood in there. Right. So I don't know what the sound is like, whether it's noisy or not with the fan running, but I do need the fan to absorb the overspray that I am getting from this. So this is just a primer coat. It's kind of a bit like the undercoat for an undercoat. I'm not getting much paint out of that. I've probably got tip dry on this. That's better. So even on these large airbrushes, you see, you get tip dry. Oh, that's all right. And this is where you get whatever dust is inside comes blasting out. Okay, that's number one. Now we do it again. Let's do the top first this time. You kind of are. The problem, Wolfie, is that it's off to one side, and it's kind of. I'm just, yeah. You're right. I'm just not looking at it enough. When it's right in front of me, as it is when I'm doing things like the jewellery, it's easy because I can see the chat scroll up. But when it's off to one side like this, that's when I don't notice it. But you know, it's just a little bit of practice. I haven't done any spraying like this on the stream before. So it's kind of like something completely new, and you know, the setup's completely new. So I'm still not used to looking at things in their position for this. Right, so that's the top half. Oh, I know you were potentially joking. Because I've got a crack in this. I've been streaming since April, so it's not just that long ago. But you know, I was kind of partially serious in that it is kind of a setup like this. So I've just got to be, you know, I do have to remember to keep looking. Of course. It does help if the people that are in the stream chat as well, you know. That means I've got a reason to keep looking at the screen. You streamed today as well. How did it go? Was that streaming your game development? Assassin's Creed for the first time I got 0. Okay, that's not bad. You've got more than I have, so that's got to be good. It's weird, isn't it? I think you said yesterday, was it yesterday, Black Flag got more than before? I don't know. There may be some way of predicting just what's a good time and day to do things on Twitch, but I don't know what it is yet. Now this vase certainly is going to need more than one coat. Especially as it's got, come on then, blast it off, let's get rid of that as well. It's got some flaking stuff on it, which doesn't help. So definitely going to need more than one coat on that. Clay surface there, flaking off. Okay, so that's that one, let's put that over there. It isn't fair to Why isn't it fair to compare us? Because you're doing better than me, you mean? Number 3. Now this one, I'm going to try and get a bit further down into the neck of the. Usually after something like this, at the other side of the room you find everything's coated in this grey primer. Sorry, I'm not following what that is. Concentration? Not sure. Now this is really soaking in, which is why it's not necessarily looking as white as the others. And of course the hardest bit to spray is inside the handle. You don't know what I'd like? No one streams. Like no one streams RPG Maker besides you, and oh yeah, I see what you. Oh, I think I get what you were meaning there. You're meaning that because you're the only one streaming it, then you're the only one that people can watch doing that, and therefore that's why you get the large audiences, because people want to see what that's about. Yeah, it could be. It could also just be that you're better than I am. And if you are, there's no problem with that. I mean, after all, I mean, I could say that potentially I persuaded you to stream, at least the game development, and because you might not have done otherwise, and therefore your success is because I was around. Doesn't bother me, Wolfie. You know, if you succeed in streaming, well done. Wow, my hands are shaking. Don't know why my hands are shaking, but yeah, I thought that was a hair on the surface. Let's get rid of that hair. It looks to have been baked onto the surface a little bit. Streaming is like game development. It gets better with practice. You kind of have to get used to you know, talking to yourself effectively whilst talking to everybody else at the same time. And it's a skill that has to be developed and practiced, just like everything else. And I'm not saying I'm any good at it either. Which I guess is kind of obvious because there's not 150 people watching. I seem to have got a cobweb or something on this. I thought I cleaned all these down, but I obviously wasn't that good at cleaning either. Okay, there's another one. Let's put that there. Oh, it's warm in the studio tonight. Oh, temperature is 24 degrees. Yeah, it's getting warm. For some reason, when I bend my hand like that to get at the nozzle, my hand's shaking. I don't know why. It's a real weird feeling, to say the least. Yeah, that's true. Definitely true. That answers it all, Wolfie. Now, when you're doing the inside of vases, you don't have to get a lot of overspray because it just goes inside, swirls out and around and shoots back straight out at you. So how is the game development going? Is it gone a bit better today? I think you felt yesterday when we were chatting that it hadn't gone as good as you'd hoped. That's an example of a big airbrush blob. I shouldn't get those. Starting to remember my big airbrushing techniques now. Wet edge technique, for example, which is where you see me going backwards and forwards here. I'm actually going over the edge I've just sprayed, so I'm going half over it. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the dark area in front of the white. That's actually sort of wet. So what I'm doing is keeping what they call a wet edge. And that helps to get an even coat of paint when you do that. It helps, it doesn't always work if you're not good enough to do it, but now, because of the fact that I am spraying this onto a very absorbent material, that's virtually dry. It needs time to actually cure, but I should actually be able to do another coat this evening. Now this one is blasting paint all over the place. And by all over the place, I mean it's just shooting it back out into the room. Which is a bit of a problem because the fan isn't actually as powerful enough to pick it up. I ought to do this one outside. But it's windy, it's dark, and it's possibly even raining by now. Yep, I didn't realise this one was broken. Yeah, this one is definitely going to need 2 or 3 coats. I should be able to get, I won't say a white finish, but quite a very light coloured finish when I've got sufficient on. I shouldn't see much more than sort of a brown, a hint of brown through the white. You got one more test, Evan. You might add one more. Okay. Sounds like it's going, well, it sounds like it's going as you just said it is, which is well. Now this is, maybe I should have done this one first. Just to give me a bit more room on the desk. Total going to have 5. Okay. Label. Amazing what you don't see. So can I get rid of this label? Or rather, yeah, can I get rid of this label in a reasonable amount of time? Or do I just spray over the top of it? Ideally I don't want to spray over the top of it because it won't look the same. But equally well, it's just quite likely I'm going to scratch this this vase as well, trying to get it off, because this is kind of like the glue rather than the paper label itself. I don't know, I was about to say it kind of annoys me when shops do things like this. You know, they put a sticky label on something like this and it's, you know, okay, they didn't know I was going to paint this, or that lady Zara was going to ask me to paint this, but even if you sort of wanted to sit this, you know, somewhere in its raw state like this, it's really hard to get the label off. I mean, you can still see it's shiny there. You can't start using a lot of water because it will soak into the clay material and eventually sort of disintegrate it. You can't really use anything really scratchy because it will disrupt the surface texture or sand it down, and you know, you'll then be left with a smooth patch which will make it stand out. So it's kind of like, I wish they wouldn't do it. Sad. Okay. About what? You probably were. It's probably a comment about what I was saying, but unfortunately Twitch delays mean I've already forgotten what I said. I think when you've been on broadcasting on Twitch, you tend to develop a slightly different way of working in chat. If you're talking to the broadcast, or I find, shall we say, whether other people do or not, I don't know. But one of the things I find that what I do when I'm talking to a broadcaster in chat, what I'll do is I'll go, "You said this, and this is what I'm replying." Because if they're anything like me, by the time 30 seconds have passed and they've read the message from me, then I've forgotten what was said, and I can't. It's difficult sometimes to connect the two. So I have a tendency to go, you know, as you've just done there, said, you know, they said that they've done this, and now I know what you mean by them putting the label on there. It's just interesting how your behaviour changes when you've been on the other side of it. So if I'm lucky, what will happen when well, my bad luck is that I've just blown all that paper stuff onto the floor, but I should, with a bit of luck, be able to cover that up eventually. It'll probably take a few coats to do it, but So one of the things, Wolfie, that I've been playing about with sort of yesterday and today, and playing about with without actually doing, is doing some programming for the Amazon Echo. Developing a skill. So I've been sort of spent the last couple of days looking into that. That looks to be quite an interesting thing to do. We'll come back to that and it'll get another coat or three. It's definitely sound. I just want a simple skill that I can use to ask the Echo what bin I have to put out, because I can never remember when I have to do it, and I want to develop a skill to do that. You found out today that about Black Friday. Oh right. You've learnt a new skill and putting it to good use. So it's one of those things that they don't really tell you about, or they don't make it obvious until you know it, and then you go, how did I not know this? This is where I wish my extractor was a bit more powerful, because I can see lots of things are going to be wiped when I finish this. If I have to do much more on these, which I may end up having to do, then what I might do is unfortunately not stream this thing, but actually do this outside, so that I don't coat the room in white paint. But we'll carry on for this evening, and then I may have to clean the room up afterwards. Each love the pirating and dislike story. You've exploited the game. Well, that's the nice thing about games like that. You can play them how you like. If you don't want to play the story, you don't have to. Right, can I just get in on that handle there? This is where the airbrush gets in the way, because I kind of want to get in there, but the shape of the airbrush itself is a bit awkward. Right, now let's see. I'm running out of space on the desk here for this. this is heavy. Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, different people play the game differently, and that's, as I say, is the nice thing about games like that. You can choose how you play. I must admit, I sort of, from time to time, like playing games in almost God mode, if you like. So, you know, things like Doom, for example. Once I'd done it, I used to really enjoy just playing that in God mode. So, you know, you can't be killed. And you could walk through walls if you wanted. So you could, you know, you could check out all the areas and things, and it was kind of, you know, built into the game. And when I play a lot of games, I like, well, partly because I'm no good at sort of the close combat. I sort of play games sort of sniper style. I like to stand off and sort of kill the objective from a distance if I can. I'm going to be white, never mind the room, I can see this billowing back on me. Amazing how you can see the thumb marks of the person that actually made this. Because the way in which they create those lips is they do that with one hand, and with the other they form the spout. You know, I suppose you could do it like that as well. And you can actually see the now that I've sprayed, you can see the finger marks. But it's kind of one indication this was hand thrown, as opposed to being made in a mould of some kind. Okay. Oh, it's like okay, so yeah, so the game sort of gets, as you get more skill at it, the game ramps up its difficulty to keep you challenged. Okay, interesting. Designing that sort of AI system into a game is really hard to tune. That to get it, you know, just hard enough, but not too hard. So how much paint have I got left? I've used what, about half of it. Okay. The thought just crossed my mind: how am I going to clean this airbrush out? Because I can't stick this one in the paint pot. So let's see if I can. I've got some. See if I can give some of these things an extra coat. This is a bit like one of those sort of tile puzzles where you sort of move things around. You know, you move the space around to get things into a particular pattern. Something just blew out of this airbrush and it's spraying a lot better. So it's a bit like there was a bit of paint stuck in the nozzle somewhere. You're well up for it, okay. Well, that's good. Keep beating the AI. Okay, I'm going to coat this again afterwards because I'm putting finger marks all over it as well. So, play the shell game again, move things around. You know what you'll have to have a look out for, Wolfie, is whether they have championships for people playing you know, that style of game, and enter a few. Now this time I'm going to see if I can avoid putting finger marks. Oh, sorry about that. Finger marks on this. I shall just check the camera adjustment in a moment. I just done this. Doing there. It hurt, did it? You got a headache when I banged you. It's I find it it's oh, okay. I've seen other people do it as well, so I don't think it's just me, but I do find it funny when you're playing a computer game, and let's say you get shot or you fall off something. I mean, playing Minecraft, playing sky maps for example, I get nervous standing on the edge and looking down into nothing. I mean, what's going to happen? I get resurrected. Nothing, but I actually get the same sort of feeling I would do looking over the side of a tall building. And if something hits you, you go, ow. I mean, why? Why do you go, ow? Because you didn't actually get hurt. You know, your character did, but you physically didn't. There's nothing to make you go ow, and yet you react as though you did. It's kind of a weird thing. Ow. In that particular case, I just had a nerve go bang, but so something did hurt me there. But What haven't I done? That one over there, I think. Being careful not to drop any of these. So once I've sprayed these with this primer and it's good enough for me, then what will happen after that is they'll probably get sprayed with white paint, and then we'll paint whatever on them, and I don't know what the whatever is at this moment in time. Probably some Greek scenes. We're about out of paint, so let's just check that and make sure that's true. Yep. So the question is, do I put any more in? No, I don't, because I'm getting overspray. That adds too much overspray for what I'm comfortable with. So you sit there nice and securely, please. So I'm not going to put any more paint in there. I was kind of concerned it was going to do what it was doing, which is blowing into the room, and it falls like dust then all over the place. So it gets on the walls, it gets on the computers, it gets on the screens, especially because of the static attraction, and just generally gets in the room, and it's not fantastically good. The fan's helping by absorbing a lot of it, but I was seeing it blow back on me, and I don't want to breathe it particularly, and into the room. In fact, my glasses look a bit misted as well. So I'm not going to be using that airbrush inside again. It's probably a bit too powerful. What I may do is use this one. This one will still blow back, but there's less paint and air coming out of it, so it's not as bad. The fan can catch it. I'm going to give these overnight to dry off, and then we'll put another coat on top. Danger of putting a coat on too soon is that if this coat isn't cured, what happens is the coat that you put on top just re-wets it, and it becomes like a single coat, just a bit thicker. Whereas what you actually ideally is you want 2 or 3 coats laid on top of each other, because then they get better adhesion, and you get 3 thinner layers are stronger than 1 thick layer, and they don't take as long to cure either. So paint dries and then it cures. So the process of drying is you can touch it. The surface is touch dry. A lot of the solvent has gone from the surface, and then the solvent gradually works its way out from inside it, and as it sort of does that, it cures. And cures is creating all the molecules inside the paint that lock all the paint together and onto the surface, and actually makes it a lot stronger and harder. Different paints take longer to cure. You can do a lot of curing within about 20 minutes, or you use like a hot air machine sometimes to help cure paint. I'm going to leave this a bit long because it's soaked into the clay, and there's a lot of liquid still in the clay which I want to evaporate out before I put another coat over the top. So I know I've put a couple on some of these, but as I said, I don't want to mix anymore, and it just gives it an opportunity for some of these to cure more. So either tomorrow night we'll do an additional coat, maybe using the smaller airbrush, which will take longer, but I don't know, might be fun. I did a whole computer case with that, so you never know. And so I might do that. It's a good, as I say, it's it's good fun in a way when you're used to sort of painting and things. Just be able to take something and just slap paint on. It's a bit like an artist, someone who does sort of fine art stuff, taking a big 6-inch brush and just slapping paint on the wall or something. I can just blast paint. I don't have to finesse it. I don't have to worry about anything. I just go blah, 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 and just coat the thing. It's kind of fun in a way. Let me get rid of that glove because my hand's a bit damp now. So there's not a lot else I can do now. These things are all in the way. I can turn that fan off, which will make things a bit quieter here. And I can get rid of that drop of liquid that's on my glass. Yeah. My glasses, and now I've got what I call the dust coat on. I've got some spray back, so I've got to clean these as well. I think what we'll do is, I know it's early, but there isn't really a lot else I can do. This stuff's on the desk, and I can't put it anywhere else because I don't want to put it on the floor, where some of the paint that's on the bottom may get onto the carpet. So I think what we'll do is make it an early stop tonight. Tomorrow we'll spray these again, but we'll use a small airbrush as I've just mentioned. That will actually take longer, as I said, just because we're not blasting as much paint, and it gives me an opportunity to clean the big airbrush out as well, because that will take a bit longer to do with it being a bigger airbrush. And I've got to take that one apart because I can't flush it through as easily because I'm in the house. If I was outside, I'd just fill that cup with water and blast it out onto the garden, but I can't do that in here. Not a good idea. Yeah. You might enjoy watching it, but it's not a good idea, not around here, especially with all the electronics. So, let's quick talk about what I might do on here. This one's already got a pattern on it, as you probably saw. It's got this leaf on it. So one of the obvious things is that leaf gets painted green probably, or maybe we'll do autumn colours, some browns and golds maybe on it. That might be a different sort of thought. And I don't know, maybe around the other side some sort of tree perhaps. These are kind of like Greek vases. That one, this one. It's sort of like Greek type wine vases. Well, they're not amphora because they go to a point, but so could do something. These are jugs. These two are jugs. So they'd be either wine or water jugs, I guess. I don't know, it might inform the thing. I think I showed on the stream the other night the one that was done a while ago. She's just got Santorini style housing on, so the blue dome church and a white building with a blue door. I think there's also a coffee table on there, and sort of just typical Greek things. So you can get about 3 scenes on any of these. You can go get 3 scenes on because you take it. When you look at it, you see about a third. So if you look from one side, you see about a third, and then you obviously go around. So you start, so one here, one on that side, and one on the front. It's nice so if you can blend them all together, so you get a circular scene no matter how you look at it, which is not as easy as it sounds. That one may be the first one we do, just because that's one's going whiter than the others. So Santorini is a typical one because of the fact that it's Santorini, if you don't know, in the Greek islands, was a volcano which blew its top. It was a volcano in the sea, blew its top up. This is thousands and tens of thousands of years ago, I guess. The whole centre. Santorini isn't quite a circular island. It's kind of like 2/3, 3/4. Part of the side of it, which is I guess part of where the mountain blew away, is open to the sea, so the whole of the basin is actually full of water. It's a dormant. I think it's dormant. I don't think it's a dead volcano. I think it's a dormant volcano, but I can't actually remember. But all on both sides of it, then there's obviously, it's obvious when you know. but it's not obvious if you don't. But they've got steep sides. You know, if you can imagine sort of that sort of shape, if you like, where you've got a steep side and a steep side, and you know, water in the middle. And so the houses are laid on top of each other, almost going up. And it's not quite, but it's kind of like the top of one house is the bottom, or the garden, if you like, of the next house as you go up the hill. So there's you get some quite spectacular sort of images or pictures if you go take photographs there of white houses with coloured doors and things like that going on. Santorini is the sort of thing you always see on the photographs of you know, the Greek islands. You see it on postcards and calendars. It's one of the most famous places one part of Santorini is one of the most famous places to take sunsets. You know, people visit from around the world to see sunsets in that particular location. If you go there, there's usually thousands of people there at sunset. So, you know, you just can't get anywhere near the nice views unless you sort of arrive there really early in the afternoon and spend several hours just sat there waiting for sunset. But it's not fun. What did you miss? Oh, you've missed everything. You went out to main menu. Okay. Yeah, you missed everything. You know, I finished half a dozen things Incredible Wolfie. You know, I created a model aeroplane and flew it around the room, and then no, I'm just talking about what I might do with these, you know, things like Santorini, which is kind of an inspiration for some of these things, or the blue dome churches, which are typical of they're typical of Greece as a whole to some extent, or the Greek islands. But a lot of people think of Santorini as kind of the home of the Blue Dome Church. But probably do some coloured doors are another typical sort of thing of the Greek thing. So if you sort of start doing just a white square, if you like, with a coloured door on it, it instantly becomes a Greek style thing. So they're kind of quite easy to do, because you can do fairly ornate doors as well, you know, with panels in them and things like that. So they're a relatively easy but quite a nice thing to do on stuff like this. And one of the nice things you can sort of do is you can sort of put a door there and another one there and another one there, and it looks like you just go around and there's door. But so yes, we're leaving putting some more white paint on these for tomorrow. Just throwing around the ideas of what I might do on them after that. I don't really know. I may not do them all. I may not do any if the inspiration doesn't strike me. So once I've put the primer on, they could just sit there, not here but in the room, until I can get a suitable inspiration to put something on. I may just do them one at a time, something like that. Because that's the one thing I'm not very good at, is coming up with ideas to paint stuff. So I'm going to now spend about the next half hour cleaning out an airbrush, and I'm not going to do that on stream, so I'm going to say thank you to everybody that's watching. I'm going to remind everybody about two things: the blue box down at the bottom right hand side of your screen, which is all the URLs. I think they're all interesting, but they're mine. There's the usual Twitter and Facebook, so follow us on there, greatly appreciated. You get to know something more about what's going on if you follow there, but you don't get 200,000 messages a day, so it doesn't clutter up your timeline too much. YouTube is being uploaded with the archive material. We're still sort of a good 10 months of archive still to upload. So there's new stuff keeps getting added there on a frequentish basis, shall we say. Given that they're usually 2 GB files to upload, it takes that about 40 minutes for YouTube to sort of process one of those things. So I can't do too many at once. And Etsy, of course, zaragonart.etsy.com is the shop. These aren't for sale, but the jewellery is. and I may put some of the other things up with, like the engraving or perhaps some of the pyrography, but that's a place to keep an eye on for new stuff. And the other thing I'm going to point out is the top right hand side of the screen. There's the follow button. Follow me, come back and see some more of these done, or the carving, or pyrography, or lots of other things. It says I'm a variety streamer. That's because I am. It's a variety. There's always something different. I mean, who'd have thought you'd see vases being painted? And there's also, of course, a subscribe button up there as well. I think at the moment, for about another week, they're half price to you guys. I get it all, but you only pay half price. So you might it'd be fantastic if you consider. I only ask you to consider, not to actually do. If you want to do it, that's great. But I only ask you to consider subscribing, which helps out the channel. With being able to buy paints to do all these sorts of things, or other sorts of materials and things like that. So, having done the advert, I'm going to say thank you again for watching. Stream should be tomorrow night between 1900 hours and 2000 hours. The start time is within that sort of period of time there. It just depends on work commitments and meals and things like that, but I do try and start as close to 1900 hours British summertime as it is at the moment as I can. That's 1800 hours GMT, by the way. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Till then, bye for now.
Shampoo, lost and found. If you have no heart, you hear no sound. If you come up short, it will come around. If you're too far up, just come down. Get what you give and take what you need. No need to take sides, just feel in between. Find your place in We're not meant to last. We're meant to live. We're meant to breathe. We go too fast. We need to see.